The city is gone, but something still moves inside its bones. From a distance, the ruin looks like a jagged cliff strangled by green. Up close, it is a vertical forest, roots punch through office floors. Elevator shafts have become waterfalls, windows gape like empty eye sockets, now filled with ferns and hanging moss. Along a snapped highway, something grey and long-limbed darts through the shadows. It pauses on a tilted street lamp, claws hooked into rusted metal, whiskers tasting the air. Its face is stretched and angular, eyes dark and glassy, teeth bared in a constant, ragged snarl. Then it leaps. A thick membrane snaps open between its limbs and flanks as it glides through a shattered tower window and vanishes into the dark, as if the building had inhaled it. Its ancestors once lived in our walls and sewers, small, hunched, forgettable. Now, they are nothing you would want to meet in a stairwell. This is not a story about the end of the world. The world did not end when we did. This is Xeno Archives, File 02, Designation, The Ruin Engineers. Subject, Earth, long after the collapse of human civilization. Primary lineage, descendants of the common brown rat. How a small, overlooked scavenger took hold of our abandoned megastructures, twisted its own body to fit them, and turned our ruins into a new kind of forest. From outside, these places still look like broken cities. From inside, they have become something else entirely. The planet below is still recognizable as Earth, but only from orbit. After our fall, ice sheets melted and retreated. Seas rose over our coasts, swallowing harbors and low-lying districts, then settled along new shorelines. Coral reefs colonized concrete and rebar. Mangrove swamps spread through stadiums and malls. The climate is warmer than in our age. Dense, humid forests wrap the equator. The poles are cool, but no longer locked in permanent ice. Storm tracks have shifted, deserts have moved. From above, most traces of us have blurred. Roads are faint scars under the trees, suburbs are patterns in the soil. But the densest city cores still show through as unnatural geometry. Straight lines in a world of curves, towers rising from shallow bays, dark rectangular blocks where erosion works around reinforced foundations instead of through them. Inside those bones, something we brought with us is still at work. The ancestral species is simple Rattus norvegicus, the brown rat. Ship stowaway, laboratory animal, the thing that gnawed our cables and lived in our walls. When our grids failed and our lights went out, the rats did not. They already knew our pipes and corridors better than we did. They bled into every gap in our foundations. At first, they survived on what we left behind: stored grain, canned food, carcasses in factory farms and zoos. But that larder was finite. Basements flooded, floors collapsed. Concrete cracked and let the outside in. Predators returned to the ruins: foxes, feral dogs, owls, snakes, and then changed again as climates shifted. Through all of this, rats did what they have always done: they adapted. In the first few thousand years, the changes are subtle. Rats follow the water as pipes burst and basements fill. They climb stairwells to drier floors. They dig into roadside verges as asphalt splits and weeds return. As centuries pass, the buildings begin to move. Concrete slabs buckle under the slow push of roots. Roofs cave in and become jagged light wells. Subways and sewers turn into black rivers, full of silt and blind fish. Within this unstable maze, rat populations begin to diverge. Some climb, because climbing is the only way to escape rising water and ground predators. Others sink deeper into tunnels, because down is safer than open streets. And some remain in the mid-levels, in the spaces between decay and light, learning to use the litter of our civilization in ways we never intended. Higher floors, once sealed behind glass, turn into islands. Soil piles in shattered windows, seeds take root, and young trees burst through office carpets. Vines pour down elevator shafts. Full rats that master this vertical jungle, food and shelter, lie above the flooded ground. Over many generations, their bodies twist into something new. Tower-dwelling rats grow longer-limbed and taut with muscle. Their paws widen into hooked hands, each finger tipped with a black claw for biting into steel and bark. Tails thicken into prehensile cables they use as fifth limbs. In some lineages, the flanks stretch into thick, rubbery membranes braced by bony spurs. At rest the skin hangs in folds. In a leap it snaps open into scarred gliding wings. A tower rat can fall for stories, rebound off a wall, and land claws first on the back of anything beneath it. They are no longer timid seed thieves. They hunt birds, smaller mammals, and each other. From street level, their silhouettes barely resemble the rats we knew, flayed for wing shadows, all teeth and trailing membrane, slipping between leaning towers with practiced ease. To them, the city is a cliff forest and hunting ground in one. Lower down, the drowned infrastructure breeds something stranger. Deep sewers, unrailed tunnels endure longer than walls. When pumps fail, they become channels of cold, dark water. Here, the rats that remain are sculpted by a different pressure. Bodies grow massive and torpedo-shaped, wrapped in muscle to drive them through the water. Fur thins to a slick pelt, skin beneath pales to grey-white. Eyes shrink to dark pits or vanish entirely. Along neck and flanks, folds of skin act as fins, helping dump heat and steer at the surface. Their incisors become enormous curved hooks for seizing prey and anchoring into rotten concrete. Whiskers thicken into stiff antennae that rake water and stone. Every vibration maps the tunnel ahead. These sewer titans lurk in culvert mouths, hauling down blind fish, amphibious reptiles, and anything that stumbles into the water. When food is scarce, they turn on one another, leaving the tunnels littered with tooth-scarred bones. Between these extremes, gliders above, swimmers below, the mid-level rats become something more insidious. They live in half-collapsed malls and parking decks open to the sky, office stacks honeycombed by cracks. Here, every storm can strip away a floor or bring a ceiling down without warning. The rats that endure are those that learn to pin the world in place. They drag debris into their burrows, bricks, metal shards, bones, plastic fragments. Wedged into gaps, these block drafts and trickles of water. Over thousands of generations, this becomes less random and more like instinct. Individuals that place the right support under a sagging beam or the right plug in a leaky wall see their tunnels survive. Their pups live where others are crushed or drowned. Bodies change to match this life. Forelimbs grow thick and corded, ending in broad, hand-like paws with long, dexterous digits. Claws narrow into chisels, ideal for prying and shaping. Skulls broaden, with reinforced jaws to crush ceramic and stone. Eyes stay small and close-set, but whiskers fan wide, constantly tasting air currents inside the structure. These are the Scrapwright rats, vicious, territorial, intolerant of intrusion. Colonies raid one another for materials and meat. Fights leave individuals scarred and half-eared, with broken teeth and missing toes. Any animal that slips into their warrens is tested. Can it be eaten, used as a brace, stripped for bone and hide? There is little waste. As thousands of years pass, the sharp outlines of cities blur further. Towers lean and fuse with their own rubble. Harbors silt up, ring roads become low, forested ridges. Yet beneath the soil, basements, foundations, culverts and tunnels still form a strange, layered substrate, neither fully natural, nor recognizably ours. Plants and fungi adapt to it. Roots specialize in gripping concrete. Certain fungi digest glues, paints, and some plastics, folding our waste into the food web. Scrapwright rats spread along these hidden lines of stress and shelter, colonizing buried industrial zones, residential blocks, and, most importantly, the heaviest, most overbuilt structures we left behind. In our time, those buildings were designed to protect information, libraries, archives, data centers, research vaults. Thick walls, few windows, deep basements. They resist weather longer than most. For the rats, they are perfect canvases. Inside, their work scales up. They no longer repair isolated burrows. They connect entire floors into reinforced warrens. An old library, sagging and cracked, has its inner core held together by generations of labor. Book stacks lie in heaps, chewed into fibrous insulation, packed into walls. Server racks become lattice of metal and plastic used as skeletons for new chambers. Gaps that threaten collapse are filled with woven roots, bones, and scavenged panels, all fitted into place by calloused, blood-stained hands. By now, their bodies have diverged far from the original rat. Archive rats are thick-set and low, with short, brutal limbs. Fur is patchy, giving way to calloused, almost armor-like skin along spine and shoulders. Faces are heavy, eyes small and recessed beneath bony ridges. The incisors are massive ivory blades that never stop growing, ground down constantly on stone and metal. Their forepaws look like crude tools, long, muscled fingers ending in flat, black claws that can shave splinters or crush beetles with equal ease. They are not shy. Any intruder too large to kill outright is met with explosive, coordinated aggression, a blur of bodies and teeth in a narrow corridor, followed by a dragging silence. Cannibalism is common. Weak or injured rats are simply recycled into protein and bone. Rats feel the stress of their homes with their whole bodies. Whiskers read tiny changes in airflow. Inner ears register faint crackles in stressed concrete. Colonies that react in time, enforcing the right points, abandoning the right shafts survive. Others vanish in sudden cave-ins. Over time, these warrens fuse into vast, multi-building systems. A single colony may occupy what used to be an entire city block, every passage and chamber tuned by selection. Some individuals specialize in excavation, others spend their lives as shapers, endlessly moving and placing material. Foragers memorize safe routes through the chaotic ruined forests outside, bringing back food, seeds, and carcasses. From a distance, the whole structure behaves like a single organism breathing within the bones of a dead city. This is the mature archive rat colony. Across the old metropolis belts, the same pattern repeats. Ruin after ruin becomes a hybrid between forest and reef, plants and fungi on the outside, rodent-driven engineering within. The result is what we can only call ruined forests, bands of overgrown, hollowed-out structures supporting dense, layered ecosystems. Rats are not the only shapers here. Trees split walls, fungi digest synthetics, burrowing reptiles and insects churn the soil. Predators specialize on the rats themselves. Serpentine lizards wriggle through side tunnels. Gliding mammal analogues stalk tower rats outside. Large carnivores wait near main exits where scent trails converge. But archive rats are among the most important engineers. Every brace they place slows one kind of decay and speeds another. Every block drain rewrites how water moves through a neighborhood. Every gnawed beam helps decide which rooms will see daylight next century, and which will collapse into sealed vaults full of stale air and teeth. In our age, we thought of cities as human creations and of rats as pests. In this age, that line is blurred. A ruined forest is not just concrete with trees in it. It is also the accumulated, unconscious violence and labor of countless small animals, endlessly rearranging what our buildings mean. None of this was planned. No rat set out to inherit our civilization or become an engineer. They followed food, shelter, and slightly better odds of survival, testing every crack and surface with their teeth. Those whose tunnels did not flood, whose ceilings did not fall at the wrong moment, left more descendants. Those whose warrens failed became part of the sediment. Evolution doesn't care about what looks natural to us. It only cares about what works. It does not protect monuments because they are meaningful, only what can still function as habitat under this gravity, in this climate, with this mix of stone, metal, plastic, and life. To us, a collapsed skyscraper is a symbol. To a tower rat, it is a hunting ground. To a sewer titan, its foundations are a drowned cave system. To an archive rat, it is raw material, bone, shelter, leverage, and meat. In this slice of time, these rat descendants are among the most influential animals in the belts where our cities once stood, not because they are intelligent in any human sense or especially large, but because they touch almost everything. They thread through walls and roots, shuttle nutrients and seeds through tunnels, and decide, in aggregate, which chambers stay dry, which beams endure, which pipes become rivers, and which are sealed forever. Future shifts in climate will bury some of these structures. Erosion will grind concrete into sand. New lineages may take over the roles rats now play. But the pattern in this file will echo again and again. Life will always find the edges we leave behind, the hollows in our machines, the dead ends in our designs. If a garden spider, dropped on an alien world, can grow into a crown weaver that wraps whole forests in silk, then here, on our own planet, a city rat can twist its body into glider, titan, and engineer, and turn the afterlife of civilization into a living forest of its own. This was Xeno Archives, File 02, The Ruin Engineers. In these records, the rat descendants of the ruined forests have no formal name yet. That part is yours. What would you call this clade that turned our libraries and high-rises into breathing ecosystems? And what should we name the first global ruined forest, the broken, overgrown belt of former megacities that now stretches across continents?